For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in the games meeting environment. Thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes,
I
motherfucker.
forgot how to count for a second.
I'm so glad that you forgot how to count. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, over twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you want to listen on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. I have nowhere to start today, man. I got nothing quippy, nothing entertaining, nothing exciting. Just start the show, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah.
How's your week?
Yeah.
But I know we just had this conversation, but conversation with
no, my week has been fine. Nothing major to report. Worked another wrestling show on Friday. Worked Renegades of Wrestling, which was awesome. Which was cool. Had the boy. So my son yesterday and today. We played a stack of games we'll talk about in a little bit. In terms of my work week, though, yeah, it was from nothing really happened during the week from memory. I think I just kind of did things. Oh, we had no internet for like 19 hours on Thursday. That was asshole. Because obviously you and I live like 5 minutes from each other. You too had no internet. How did you survive your lack of interwebs?
I played Octopath Traveller for like 12 hours.
Nice.
It was pretty easy, actually, to be honest.
So for me, so the difficulty you have, so every Thursday night, my mate Craig, the Mullet Show, he comes over, and the idea is this is how we watch Breaking Bad together. This is how we watch. We will be watching wrestling together, or even Better Call Saul. And he's on his way over, and then I get home, and I'm like, oh fuck! I forgot to tell Craig we have no internet. I'm like, hey Craig, got no internet. Can't watch Better Call Saul. It's on Stan. That's the problem. And he goes, well, look, I'm already on my way. What else can we do? So we ended up just booting up WWE 2K23. So big thank you to the team over at 2K. And we just fucked ass around in the GM mode, which is essentially fantasy football, but wrestling. So we each picked our own like brand. I was NXT. He was WCW. And my partner Phoebe, she was SmackDown, and we had to essentially book our own shows. We had a draft, we got to pick our wrestlers, and we had to build a show around it. And that was our entire Thursday. We did that for like 5 hours, just because there was no internet. Like we'll just play pretend wrestling, pretend wrestling. That's meta.
So you just played wrestling?
Yeah, pretty much. No, but we didn't play wrestling because we didn't actually wrestle the matches. It's all simulated. That's the point.
So you played wrestling because wrestling matches are also
That's
simulated.
what I'm saying. But like we played pretend playing pretend. It's fun. But yeah, the Octopath Traveller. Anything else happen to you this week before we just keep talking about the games?
No, because I haven't been doing anything because your boy's been on holidays.
Yeah. That's pretty nice, actually.
Look, I took the holidays to move house and I didn't fucking move house. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, good times.
So, as much as I needed,
and you also spent a week of it with COVID.
Yeah, as much as I needed the break, I didn't get anything done that I wanted to.
Yeah, well, the whole idea was moving house.
And they move. Yeah.
But did you like at least get all your shit together a bit better?
Yeah, like we've pretty much got while Well, my mum was in a couple of weeks ago. I think I spoke about it last week. We hired a big skip in. We threw out all our shit. Did a bunch of work around the house. So yeah, we're in a better state than we were, but we're still not where we wanted to be, which was not here.
Yeah, which is in a different house.
This is a different house. But I went out there today, and they're finally getting shit done.
What's the delay?
What's the delay? Contractors.
Bastards. It's why they're contractors, not employees.
As someone who has been getting paid to not work for the last 2 weeks, I totally understand why people don't want to go to work. Like, I get it.
Oh man, if I could just get paid and like do minimal shit, like it would be awesome. I could just do things and like it'd be awesome.
I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, finish my fucking house.
Yeah. That's what people do.
I don't want to pay for 2 anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how you're doing that, by the way. I could barely afford one.
It's not fun.
Oh yeah, you got 2 incomes. That helps.
Yeah, it's still not fun because one income's paying for one house and the other income's paying for the other. So yeah,
easy. But yeah, in terms of the games we've been playing, Magicast in the chat says, "Sup boys, lurking while I'm working." Oh, sup Shane, haven't seen you around these parts a little while. Good to see you. I hope you are doing well.
That's because he can never lock us down because we fucking change times.
That is it's totally our fault. We're like, we're like, hey, we do this time and this time and that time, or because of my bullshit wrestling schedule, which isn't getting better, by the way.
It's all entirely your fault.
Yeah, you're right. Just heads up, at the end of the month, end of April, we're a bit fucked. I have a wrestling show Friday night, 2 wrestling shows on the Saturday, and then a gig on the Sunday. We're gonna have to record like Thursday, I guess.
Sunday morning,
maybe. Oh yeah, Sunday morning, maybe. Yeah, cool. Yeah, because the gig's not till night. And there it is, Sunday morning.
Breakfast show.
Oh yeah.
I'll
Bets
wear
in
my
the necks in the morning.
I'll wear my pajamas. I'll have some fucking pancakes.
Ooh, I'll put my dressing gown on.
Cup of coffee.
Oh, that'd be nice. All right, you know what? You fucking sold me. That's what we're doing. But yeah, in terms of games, as I said, I have been playing WWE 2K23. Game is shit tons of fun. It looks awesome. For one, it's a drastic improvement. Now, I don't know whether I talked about it last week, because I'm pretty sure I got the code on the Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think we were supposed to talk about it last week.
No, it was it was in embargo, so I couldn't talk about it. Plus, I got it on the Saturday, and then I had Game Expo, and I didn't really get to spend as much time with it as I originally intended. Yes. Oh, yeah, because we recorded Saturday night. That's right. Jacked up times. Yeah, look, it's great. It's really cool. Even just standard simple things like menu design is really clean and pretty, but it still looks exactly like every other one you've played. So it's like it's just enough of what you remember, but with this new coat of paint on it. Of course, the Mullet Show, Craig, has gone above and beyond once again to design us in the game for our good friend Mad Dog over at TCW. That's Twitch Championship Wrestling, as we are the stable over there at PopC or Pop Corporate. I think because we're still a heel faction right now. So we've had our gear redesigned, but it just looks really, really good. Max, you are still the human cannonball. You are like 5'4", the smallest the game will allow. You are the heaviest the game will allow. No one can pick you up. Yet we made you a luchador, which means you are really flippy and nimble. You are like our Kung Fu Panda. It's awesome. It looks great.
Skadoosh, motherfucker.
Skadoosh. So I know Max. I know that Craig is working on your mask. I think you might be getting a different lucha mask this time, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, no, the game is really cool. I haven't dicked about too much in the showcase mode, which is all about John Cena. I did a little bit, which is kind of cool, but not enough to really talk about. I've kind of mostly dicked about in the custom creator and a lot in the GM mode. I've never really touched upon the GM mode before, and I don't know why, because it seems very much up my alley. Because I do fantasy football, I enjoy wrestling, I work enough wrestling shows to like have an understanding of what makes a good story, how to set it up, how to maximize a card. At least from an observing standpoint. Could I run my own promotion? Fuck no. There are way better people that could do that than me. But it is fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying it as the wrestling fan that I am. But yeah, very, very good. Enjoying it quite a lot. Now, Max, speaking of things that has nothing to do with anything, that's a really bad segue. You got to do something cool this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were invited by the team over at Double Jump to go check out the next season of Fortnite.
It's a Fortnite Mega is their current season, so it's all very heavily inspired by anime. So super up my alley.
Yeah, you fucking nerd. That was awesome.
Unfortunately, my time was cut short. Obviously, we are still dealing with the repercussions of COVID. My kid is still fucking gnarly sick, and into our third game, my kid fucking threw up everywhere. I'm like, I'm really sorry, I'm gonna have to duck out. But it turns out that despite the fact that Fortnite is a shooter, I can't play it anymore.
Why not?
I got absolutely decimated by everyone I ran into.
Really?
Yeah. Now, granted, the first time I did get a few kills because I had this fucking crazy ninja sword that allows me to fucking fly through the sky. That was good fun. But I do not have Fortnite skills at all anymore. But I had a great time. I met some really cool people. There was about 12 of us in total, I think.
Oh, pretty tight. It's a tidy bunch. Nice.
Double Jump were kind enough to provide everyone with some V-Bucks, so I scored myself the Battle Pass. And yeah, Mega's fun. They've kind of brought back what was my favorite area of the map, which was Tilted Towers back in the day. For the longest time it's been gone. And now it's back, and it's essentially like Akihabara, Japan. It's fucking skyscrapers, neon. There's holograms being projected all over the city.
That is the most
nuts.
Max fucking sentence I've ever heard.
It's so cool, and I suck at the game so bad. Like none of my shooting skills in any other game translates across to this game. It just works so differently to anything else that it's
Well,
the people who play Fortnite, and that their skills probably don't transfer across to any other shooter either.
Yeah.
And I've been away from the game for so long. Like the team were like, oh, when was the last time you played this? And I'm like, like ages ago.
Yeah.
They're like, what was the last thing you remember? I'm like, Deadpool. And they're like, oh, dude, that's so long ago.
Like, oh, why do we get lumped with this fuck? It's like it's not going well.
Luckily, my teammates carried me hard, so that was good.
Legend. Yeah, so
no victory royales though.
No.
No crowns. No umbrella wins. But yeah, I had a blast. Like I said, met some cool people, and hopefully, I get invited back to do more cool things because I had a blast.
Yeah, it was
a real shame it had to get cut early.
Yeah. So like we've been invited to some things like this before, but mostly because like their Fortnite and like Rocket League and other things like that really haven't been our like forte. So we didn't want to jump in and be like, well, we want to go and just for the funs of it, and like unless it's something that we could like legitimately talk about. And I know you, as you said, you used to play Fortnite a lot back in the day. I never really gave it a burr. And then like the announcement of the Horizon skin coming back, I was like, ooh, because like the only thing that would get me to play is like the Kratos skin, the Nathan Drake skin, the Horizon skin, and that was like $30. Like that's gross. So I bounced out. And same as yourself, I played it, got decimated. I'm like, this game sucks. But
it is much more pleasurable now that there is a no build mode.
Yeah, the no build mode is probably where it's at for me.
Like it's really cool not having someone build a fucking fortress after they get hit by one bullet.
Yeah. But like. So yes, the reason we jumped on this was like, hey, this could be fun, and yeah, it's a whole side of the game sphere that I don't tend to delve in, but you do, and that's the advantage that you and I have in terms of our dynamic, because we play different things. So where Josh and I, like the previous co-host, the creator alongside me of the show, he and I had very similar tastes. Like he was a giant weeb as well, loved his JRPGs, unlike myself, who can't stand them. But like where you and he aligned, but you have a wider palette than say he would. So like he would never touch Fortnite and stuff. But the opportunity came up. We said, why not? Yeah, and then exactly that. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
You know, previously be like, ooh, why would I want to do that? Now I'm just changing my thought process in a greater way. Like in a lot of ways, I've been trying to do the whole why not approach to everything, but let's bump it up a little bit. Let's expand it. And you know, like we've been doing this show for what, almost 260 episodes. Like 5 years of my life I've spent on this show. And we're very, very lucky. We do have a quite small community, you know, small listenership, etc. There's not a lot of growth in us these days, knowing that we're a niche within a niche who peaked fucking 4 years ago. But these opportunities are still available to us. And I'm in a position now where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. Let's let's do a little.
Let's stick our finger in all the pies.
Yeah, let's do a little. Let's like do all. You know, there's actors and actresses that like haven't made a movie in about 8 years, and they still rock up at the Oscars. Everyone's like, oh yeah, let's do that. That's our time now. We had our moment. It wasn't very big, but we're still lucky enough to be in the position that we are. Let's now just start cruising. Not cruising. We'll still do the work, but like let's chill. Let's have fun. Hence why we jump on to this Fortnite opportunity. Because why not? I don't know what else is going to pop up, but I like the why not attitude. What else have I been playing this week? Oh,
I've been playing.
Speaking of why not, I was dicking about on Keymailer, which is a website for those that don't know, where you can just sort of, you know, devs and publishers go, hey, who wants a key? And I was scrolling through, and then I saw the Outer Worlds. I forget. Can you Google what the edition is called for me, please? Yeah. So there's an Outer Worlds, which is a game that came a couple of years ago. It's from the team of Obsidian, that have been known that they made Fallout New Vegas, was their sort of big claim to fame in the RPG space.
I'm assuming it's the Space's Choice edition.
Yep, that's the one. Why did I think of that? Because
cool.
that naming is fucking everywhere. Also, huge thank you to the Mullet Show for resubscribing for his 60th month in a row. Jesus Christ. What a sweetheart. Yeah, so the Space's Choice edition, I was like, oh, cool, which is an next-gen port, for one.
Very nice.
Alongside, you know, some visual reworks, including all the DLCs, like Fight for Gorgon, I think it was called. And I was like, oh, man, I remembered that game, and it kind of run like butt on the PlayStation. Let's see if it runs good on the PS5. So I was like, bing. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll check it out. Fuck, I'm glad that I did, because I forgot how awesome Outer Worlds
very
is.
Very nice. Very double.
Hey,
nice.
Be Possessed 101. I don't know who that is. Has resubscribed for the 13th month. Max, sweetheart, you. But yeah, like I said, it's running at a higher frame rate for one, which I'm really happy about. HDR implementation is brilliant. Even something as simple as, you know, especially in the first area, there was Edgewater. As you come out of that cave and you sort of look at the world and it's all, you know, flourishing and you have the big, you know, planet in close proximity, it just looks brilliant. And then even when you go into Edgewater and it's just shithouse, and it's dark, it's gritty, it's blah, but like everything is kind of damp for some reason. But with the HDR, like the water reflections are brilliant. Like it just looks pretty. Like everything looks fantastic. The neon lights really pop. You know, especially about the Saltuna factory, etc. And then as you go out and about into the Vale, you know, it's tons of fun. Yeah, for me, it's running it like There's a patch that came in the last couple of days that kind of fixed it. I did have some hitching in the Vale area, you know, where it's like once you sort of get out of the enclosed hub space, you know, if you move too quickly, you start fanging it across, it kind of chugs a little bit. Nothing too major, just a noticeable one. But that seems to have been reduced in the new update, which I much appreciate. But yeah, game's great. Game was great, still great. Is dope. Did you ever play the Outer Worlds?
I did.
How far did you smash it? Because you played on Xbox, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I didn't get very far. I think something else, because I was playing it just on my own for my own personal play. and I think something came up that we needed to play for review.
Yeah, because I ended up,
and then I kind of just never went back to it.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, "Oh, this is going to be deep. I really got to give this all my focus until I can't anymore."
Mm.
But saying that, like right now, it's just tickling a different itch. Like, because obviously Hogwarts Legacy we've been playing. I knew that if I stepped away from Hogwarts Legacy, I ain't gonna go back. Guess what? Stepped away. Probably not going back. Because like it's not that I didn't enjoy the game. I did really enjoy the game. I couldn't give a flying fuck about the main story. Like, I just wanted to piss fart around in the world, and I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed going and doing all the collectibles and flying through balloons and finding little telescopy things. And it's like, oh, I should probably go do that other trial, huh?
You really should. You haven't done the best trial in the game yet.
All right. What was it like? Is it like the other two?
No, completely different.
I don't care.
Completely different.
Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of, but like, I guess I want to check it out. But as you mentioned that, speaking of games going back and checking them out, as we mentioned before, you had 12 hours without internet. So you played Octopath Traveller 2. Your previous communication around it was, yeah, not all the stories are made equal. I'm really enjoying it, but blah, blah, blah. How are you now that you've spent a fuckload more time in it?
So I've now completed every character's story up to chapter 3. Most of them have 4 chapters. A few of them have 5. So I've gotten fairly deep into each of the character's story. My stance still stands that they are not all created equally. Some of them are just like, I just don't care about. So I've been focusing more on my favorite characters as they make up my main party, and you can only progress stories for the members who are actually in your party at any given time. Some of them are great. The one that I found the most humorous that I joked about the first time I spoke about it was that that Texas oligarch, just evil dickhead businessman. That has become such a compelling story. I'm really enjoying this.
What changed? Without obviously spoilers, of course. What was the moment?
Basically, it started off as like you play as the son of this entrepreneur and his business partner. Yeah, entrepreneur, whatever. Anyway, they basically did this deal to get access to a silver mine, and then at the end of it, apparently the partner snuck in a clause at the end of it, who's just like, at any given time, the rightful owners of the land can buy the land back whenever they want. Okay,
that's fair. Cool.
Well, it turns out the business partner was the original landowner. So as soon as they it all flipped, and you're on this redemption quest. You're like this fucking top tier merchant. And you just want to make the world a better place. Aww. And you're trying to buy the rights to like steam engine productions not to make money, just to make the world better. And these rich wankers just refuse to fucking play ball. They're like, I'll sell you the right for $1 bajillion. Because fuck people. And like
capitalism.
It's so good. It's so good. I have hit a point where I'm kind of getting to that stage where I'm kind of just grinding my characters up. Because each of them have when you open the world map, it's like, hey, we recommend you be at around this level to progress the story. Now, obviously, depending on how you've built your characters, what classes you set them up as, you can you have a bit of wiggle room. For instance, one of the story chapters that I did last night that I've been stuck on for a while is recommended level 35. Now, I have a team of 4. I had 3 members at level 36, so 1 level above, and I had 1 member at level 22, like significantly under the recommended level. That character was the only one who survived and did the most damage out of everyone.
Oh, damn.
He's just a fucking machine. It's great. So, depending on how you build your characters, the recommendations are really just recommendations. It will be helpful to be around that level. Each of the biomes are quite different. The world map is very vast. I now have access to a ship, so I can kind of sail around by myself as opposed to having to pay to just essentially fast travel from point to point across the map.
Okay.
Which is cool. There is a fast travel system. Once you've gone to a town hub, you can just teleport there whenever you want to, so it does make chopping and changing a little bit easier. But at the moment, I'm kind of just grinding for some gear, getting some levels before I tackle the chapter, the fourth chapter for all the characters,
Mhm.
but I'm still digging the game. The turn-based tactical combat is really fun. But yeah, for me, Octopath 1 is still a better game, but the additions that they've made in 2 aren't detrimental to it. I feel it's just the characters aren't as engaging as number 1 for me.
Yeah, and
But
like
that
I was
but
trying to think about this last week.
that's a purely personal thing. Like, depending on how I just found the characters from number 1 just a little bit more compelling than what I do for number 2.
I was thinking about this from last week. Pardon me, when you made this comment. And I guess with Octopath, because it's essentially like the sophomore album thing, or the sophomore, like the sequel. In that, like, think about The Matrix. The first Matrix was smart, it was brilliant, it was well shot. Everything about it was excellent because they had time to get it exactly as they needed. And they didn't have the pressure because no one really knew they were doing it, right? But we're here.
There's an expectation.
Octopath 1, brilliant because they could do what they want because no one had any expectation. It was just blah, blah, blah. But now they have a second, they're like, oh shit, well, we spent 6 years building that. I don't have, I'm pulling numbers out of my ass here. Like, oh, we spent X amount of years putting this one together, and then we've got to get this done in a reasonable time. Like, we can't sit there and flesh the stories out like we did last time. This could be a problem, potentially. And it sounds like that could be, is that kind of what you're thinking may have happened here?
Not necessarily. They're obviously going for a flow because in this game they've got what they called crossed paths, where there's 2 story characters that will share a story beat mission, whereas that didn't exist in number 1.
Okay.
So I think they've constrained themselves a bit more than they had in the first one by making those shared experiences between the 8 protagonists that you essentially have, because it's essentially 8 different stories being told, and
yeah, hence the name.
Now they've got some through path to a degree.
Okay.
Because they've got those crossed paths portions of them, but it's still cool. I'm still digging it. So a huge shout out to the team over at Bandai Namco Australia for providing a copy of the code to me, and Square Enix.
Same
I think
team.
came through Bandai. Yep.
Yeah, same team.
So huge thanks to them. Loving it. And I'll probably have it finished by next week with the rate of how often I'm playing it now. I'm like really getting into it.
Yeah.
I did take custody back of the VR system.
You did.
So I've been playing. I played the proper VR version of Resident Evil.
How? Okay, now that you've played it properly, isn't it awesome? Except for the cutscenes where you have to stand on the ground.
Look, it's cool, right?
Good gimmick.
Like, I get it.
It's a good gimmick.
It's a good gimmick, but fuck me if it wouldn't get old quick.
Oh yeah.
Like having to stand there and put each individual shell in the shotgun, fucking pump it every time I want to shoot.
Good immersion.
It's cool, but I got over it real quick.
Yeah. How far did you get in?
Not very.
Oh.
Not very at all.
Did you even get to like the werewolfy encounter?
Yeah. I did like the first little bit. Like it was fun. And then I played After the Fall for a bit.
Oh yeah! Shout out to the team at Play On for that one. How is it? What is it?
That's cool. So it's essentially like a zombie shooter. So you've got free movement. So you use the left thumbstick to walk, and then you can use the right stick to aim. I just fucking spun around in circles in my living room because I found it easier and less like fucking vom.
Yeah. That's classic.
But they have the same thing. You drop the clip out of the bottom of the gun, and you gotta. To be fair, you just smash it into your ammo pouch on your chest, and then it reloads, and then you're fucking good to go again. Yeah. So I'm literally just going bang, bang, bang.
There was another game where you had to do that, where like Resi's gone that extra, like you gotta, and then you've got to cock it back too, which is the annoying part. Like just going would help, hence the just pump it in your chest, but you got to do the cock.
So I did like the first.
To do the cock.
Did like the first 2 missions of After the Fall. Cool. You kind of just explore the area. The gimmick here is they've warped like old arcade shooting machines to do all your gun upgrades and to launch your missions and stuff like that. The AI is dumb.
Sweet.
because the game's designed to be a 4-player co-op game, and if you don't have friends to play with, it just boots you in with 3 AI. AI's dumb. AI's always dumb. They barely cover you. But it's cool. Cool. Looks good. Plays great. I didn't have any problems with it. So I did like the first few levels. I downloaded the demo for Drums Rock.
Yeah.
And that game's fucking rad.
Well, you said you downloaded the demo and then purchased it.
I haven't purchased it yet.
Oh.
I'm very much likely to do so. I actually wanted to have a look at the set list before I purchased it, because the demo has 2 licensed songs and they're bangers. It turns out only about 30% of their set list is actually licensed music. The rest
but are they
is
just?
original.
Is it like the Guitar Hero 1 where they're like covers?
No.
It's all okay.
So it's like there's most of it's original music, which is fine. But yeah, it is essentially that. It's a seated experience. You have a fucking drum kit in front of you, and instead of just like plain notes coming at you, they're colored demons, and you're killing the demons to the beat. It's rad.
The only because I asked you about
Very
this as well, because the only problem that I would have, because I was being a drummer, a subpar drummer, like. The thing for me is, well, how do you do a kick tom? Like, there's no VR, there's no sense controller for your foot. So would you have to play kick with your foot, with your hand? Sorry,
no.
So like,
it essentially comes.
You know,
it kind of gets doubled up as the right tom.
That's what I'm saying. So like, it's forcing you to like you have to hit a tom to replicate the kick.
To a degree.
Ew.
It's really not as bad as what it seems, because your foot because my foot was still moving at the same time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It plays as if you were hitting the tom and the bass drum at the same time, and it's just activating off one hit as opposed to doing 2 actions. You're just doing one. Okay. It's not horrible. Yeah.
And you also, speaking of Guitar Hero, you gave the unplugged air guitar a go too?
I gave unplugged air guitar a go too. I'm not very good at it. Yeah. It's really hard to. I wish the controller vibrated as I strummed. Yeah, I wish there was some. I wish there was some form of tactile recognition that I was doing, like the strumming motion in my right hand.
Yeah, because it's great because you can almost like individual string it. So obviously there's enough minute detection. You can go ding 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 ding. You know, but like to have that little bit of a response. In my head, it did have some minor response, but I may have just made that up in my head. Paravia.
And I think that was all I checked out for VR.
One thing I did check out though, because I think if that's everything you've played, I did with the PS Plus game this month was Minecraft Legends, and I've been talking the last couple of weeks about my son and I being getting really into Minecraft. No, Dungeons. Sorry, Minecraft Dungeons. Minecraft Legends. Something is coming out next month. Minecraft Dungeons. He wanted to play it because it was Minecraft. It's like a really subpar Diablo. It is not very fun.
I would say subpar is generous. It's a piece of crap.
Yeah, it is not very fun. The levels kind of suck. The UI is kind of hideous. The grinding is poo. Gear is average, but my kid likes it, and that's why I play it. But like, why would you want to play a subpar Diablo experience when you can play a literal Diablo experience? Max, you played Diablo 4, and you being the big Diablo nerd that you have, like, how erect are you?
So the servers are fucking atrocious at the moment.
Did that happen with like Diablo 3 too?
Yeah, because obviously this is a live service game. Yes. It's got social aspects. There's fucking world events. So if the servers are running like asshole, you just can't play. Yeah. Now Blizzard are like, hey, we know logins are hard and yada yada yada. So they stopped people from being able to log in, so the people who were in could actually play. So there were queue times of up to 1,000 minutes.
Jesus.
I played it right on launch. So at 3 a.m. Saturday morning, I got on for about an hour. Got from level 1 to 6. So there's 3 playable characters available in the early access beta window, which was this weekend. Mm-hmm. So you had a choice of Wizard, Barbarian, Rogue. Next weekend, when it goes truly open beta, they will add the final 2 classes, Necromancer and Druid.
Open this week, isn't it?
Yeah, so open. I think it's running from the same time. So 6 a.m. Saturday morning is when the open beta will start. It's good. I really enjoyed it. Like it is cool. It's kind of what I wanted, which was more. It's more like Diablo 3 than Diablo 2. So if you are a bigger fan of 2 than 3, it's gonna kind of ruffle some feathers.
Because I know you're a humongous fan of 2. Like you spent
Well,
an
I've
amount of
I've
hours.
only put like 700 hours into Diablo 2 on PS5. That's not including my like PC playthroughs and like was playing that back when I was like 10 years old when it first came out.
Well, I'm thinking of the remaster, like as in your.
So this has sold me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely gonna pick this up. Think I'm gonna play it on PC though.
Fair.
Purely because it's just easier.
Is it crossplay?
It's completely crossplay.
Ooh, sexual.
And now that I have a beastly computer, I feel like I should, use it. But yeah, the game's fun. The world events were really cool. They were kind of like public events from similar to like Destiny. So there'd be a big icon on the map with like a ring zone. It's like, hey, if you enter this zone, you'll see essentially the task you have to do. So I did a few different ones. One was essentially just kill a boss, and he would randomly summon minions that would tether to him to make him immune. So you go kill those minions, and then you can damage the boss again. They were all very simplistic. Or it's like to defend the caravan drivers. So monsters would come and try and kill the caravan drivers. You just got to defend them for X amount of minutes. And then at the end, you get some loot. But it's very much more of the same of Diablo. So I believe you have access to the prologue and Act 1 in the beta. So there's a fair bit of content to play. It caps you at level 25. Progress will not be saved. Your characters will be deleted at the end. So I haven't played heaps. I've played like 3-ish hours. My character's sitting at like level 17, so I've seen most of what is on offer. I'm playing a wizard at the moment because the class that I want to play is locked until next week. So I'm playing a melee mage, which is cool. So all my spells are close combat. So I essentially teleport on top of the enemies and just fucking blow everyone up.
It's a little unconventional, but I like it.
It's nice. I like it. What are the skills? So each skill now has its own little skill tree where you can pick like additional effects. So for teleport, you get the choice of for every enemy hit, lower the cooldown by 0.3 seconds, or for 5 seconds after you cast teleport, you take 50% reduced damage. So I'm like, oh, 50% reduced damage, fucking sweet.
Tick.
So there, and from that, the melee mage was born. So I just teleport in on enemies and I take reduced damage and just fuck everyone up while I'm.
I do like your ability to break games, by the way.
Semi-immune.
It pretty much happens all the time. Like, hey, I found this minor, like not an exploit. Like you're that guy that is fucking horrifying to play D&D with because you're like, I'm a fucking horrendous min-maxer in D&D. I'm a DM's worst nightmare. I once made a character that had the ability to hide in plain sight. So I just needed to be within 5 feet of a shadow to hide whilst observed, and my own character casts a shadow, so I could hide inside my own shadow. I hate you.
Beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, the DM's punishment was I illuminated light to like 25 feet, so I could never cast a shadow.
Good response.
Yeah,
good response.
It's good fun. If you enjoyed Diablo 3, you will love this. If you didn't like Diablo 3, it's a bit iffy. It's taken a lot of stuff from Diablo Immortal, so they've gotten so they kind of got rid of potions. They're more like, it works more like an Estus flask from Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So you get charged juices. It's upgradable, but enemies drop potion charges all the fucking time, so it doesn't even matter. It's great. You just pop potions whenever you think you're gonna take a little bit of damage. There is now a dedicated dodge button to dodge out of like telegraphed AoEs. So it's a little bit more hands-on than kind of just clicking your spells, which is cool.
That's good.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Good to hear.
Comes out June. Open beta next weekend. If you're interested, jump on.
Did I talk about the Resident Evil 4 demo last week?
No.
Sweet.
Maybe, yes.
Oh, well,
maybe.
the last thing,
No.
because we
Oh,
played.
you didn't.
No,
You didn't, because you hadn't played it yet.
That's correct.
Did you put the cheat code in
No.
to make it more difficult?
No, because it's difficult as it is. So I was playing Resident Evil 4 Chainsaw demo. Speaking of games that are coming out, so a game comes out this week. Holy shit! The Chainsaw demo is dope. Like, so now, understandably, if we talk about right now, Resident Evil 4, the reviews are out. Everyone's giving it a 10 out of 10, as to be expected, because Resident Evil 2 remake was fucking awesome. 3 was really good, and I had nothing but high expectations for 4. The demo itself, now obviously we can't talk about the game itself. We have spoken to Capcom Australia, they haven't got back to us yet, but we'll be playing it hopefully soon. But the demo itself, I'm like, all right, show me what you got. It's awesome. So it has performance and a resolution mode. I played it in performance, smooth as butter. Beautiful. Now I put it into resolution, and then I went ew, and then put it back. I have like the introduction of the performance mode has really fucked with me, Max. Where especially with my, because I haven't talked about it in a very long time, my beautiful television.
You've realized that frames are the only thing that matters.
Nah, look. So I have been a frames advocate for a while, but like more and more now with the TV that does 120 frames and all that nonsense and VRR and like. I've become more observant to stutters and pacing and, you know, any sort of drops that happen. I go, It's the disadvantage of the privilege. But yeah, no, it runs as beautiful. So the chainsaw demo is essentially the beginning of the game where you come in as Leon and you'll go into that first town, you get out of your car, you walk down, go into the town. There's the church, the big pyre in the middle. The 2 police officers that are escorting you in are being burnt at the stake in the middle, and it's essentially just that encounter, which is. But you first see the infected people in middle of fuck knows where Europe. And then the dude with a Hessian bag on his head and the chainsaw comes at you. It plays exactly like the original. However, tank controls are removed. And it is by far the best thing. Having replayed Resident Evil 4 in 2020. So a couple of years ago now. Maybe 2021. It's still really in my memory about how that game plays, and tank controls are asshole. So one of the only things, if we go back to one of those old episodes that we talked about, I said, keep the game exactly the same, make it prettier, remove tank controls. It's done exactly what I've wanted. Like, corpse look gross. The details in the world are brilliant. Like, everything about it is exactly what I want in Resident Evil 4, and I cannot wait to play it in a couple of days. Itching in my loins. And also I'm sad because I can't, like, I know you can't see it in the shop, but like, I've got the Resident Evil 2 Leon statue behind me. I didn't get in because it was super expensive too, so I didn't get the statue for 4. Didn't get the statue for 8 either because it was stupid expensive, and 3 I didn't get because it was also expensive. But we'll try to find one if I can. But I think look, we've been sitting for like 45 minutes, and we're just talking about games that we played. So we probably should get into this section now in Court Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation, because apparently all we did was play games.
Well, I'm going to tell you about all the games you can be playing, I think, on Tuesday.
Oh, but I've just played so many, Max.
So the PlayStation Extra and Premium games are dropping, I believe, this Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we have Chia on PS5, PS4, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, Immortals Phoenix Rising, Rainbow Six Extraction, Ghostwire Tokyo, Life is Strange True Colors and Life is Strange 2, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, Untitled Goose Game, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, Rage 2, Neo The World Ends With You, and Haven. And coming to those who still pay for premium, Ridge Racer Type 4 PS1, Ape Academy 2 PSP, and Siphon Filter Dark Mirror PSP.
Well, I remember Ridge Racer Type 4 quite well. It was on the demo disc that I had. And I remember really enjoying it. It was tons of fun. But let's have a quick look here. All right? Not as good as the other month. This is still pretty good. Chia is that cool little artsy looking game.
Open world sandbox thing.
Yeah, it looks lovely. You can play a real guitar in it, apparently. And then it is a launch day PS Plus game. Very similar to Stray, which is exciting. And MGB in the chat, got to say this month's lineup is actually brilliant. It is very good. Not quite as good as the other one, because the other one had things more tailored to me personally. But if you have not played many of these games and like you're just diving into having a PlayStation, this is literally one of the greatest mods you can have. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, brilliant. Uncharted 4 looks amazing. The game is exceptional, so no surprise. Mortals Phoenix Rising, one of the best games to come out in the last couple of years. It's everything that everyone loves and gets burned is about Zelda Breath of the Wild, but it's actually good. Rainbow Six Extraction could benefit from more players. Ghostwire Tokyo's fine. Life is Strange is alright. DBZ Kakarot's pretty cool. Untitled Goose Game is an unquestionable banger. My son loves that game. He calls it the duck game because he's an idiot. He's 6. But we play Goose Game a lot. Very fun. Being a bumhole goose. Anything jump out of you, Max? Now, granted, obviously, I think you've played everything that you've wanted.
Life is Strange.
Oh, really?
The 2 ones that I want to play that I haven't played before. So I got some bangers out of this one.
Excellent. But the marketing side of things is still kicking into gear, Max, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. But the live from PS5, it's bumped up, hasn't it? I was just feeding
Are you taking the story? No, mate. You're up.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, the segue that I began to give to you...
It's like you've never fucking recorded this show before.
Yeah, but
you don't know how it works.
You section off the news by major headlines. These are sub-headlines.
Look, if you want me to take all of the Sony news, that's fine.
Oh, fine. That's a lot of subheadings. Okay. So Sony's latest hashtag live from PS5 marketing beat is here. The Platinum holder is aggressively pushing its current gen console now that PS5s are in stock and they're much easier to find. And part of that campaign is this latest installation in London. The marketing stunt brings attention to The Last of Us, which recently just wrapped up. Check out our mini-series with more of the players here on this YouTube channel or on this podcast feed. Leading on the recent... In Shoreditch, Sony has installed a special exhibit that turns one room into a cordyceps-infested ruin, encouraging passers-by to check out The Last of Us Part 1 after watching the HBO series. It looks fantastic, albeit a bit creepy. Now, you did send through the pictures to me today. It looks fucked.
It's only available for this weekend, so people in London, go.
Well, I best get on a flight.
You may not make it in time.
No, I won't. Because time... no, it's going back in time. No, won't work.
Keeping things TV... now that The Last of Us has wrapped Season 1, pre-orders for the Blu-ray box set and its collector's edition are already live. And also now that the run has ended on HBO or Binge here in Australia, it is now available on Amazon Prime Video, iTunes, Sky Go, and Hulu as well.
Man,
everyone's getting it. It's fucking 100%
watching it again on 4K Blu-rays. Like, I'm gonna buy the fuck out of it. I'm gonna Atmos the shit out of it. I'm gonna have it in its beautiful 4K as HDR sexiness. And I cannot wait to cry all over again. Because I will. God, I'm excited. And the steelbook looks sexual. Like it got like a cartoon sort of like clicker, but like the one that's cranked to the wall. You know, not like I said sexual and it's this cordyceps cranked to the wall. That's not where I was going at it. It's a very nice picture. It's very artistically. It's not an artistic nude. I feel like I'm digging myself a hole. I'm going to back out really quickly. I'm going to buy it in the steelbook is what I'm getting at, and just and I'll do appropriate things with it. Next piece of news: the BAFTAs. Shueihei Yoshida, one of PlayStation's best and most beloved executives, shout out to Shu, coming back to PAX this year, which is exciting.
Hopefully, I can get a photo this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna chase him down again. I forget what I was doing, but I didn't see him.
I was with someone who got a photo with him, and I literally left for like 15 seconds to do something, and in that 15 seconds, he met Shu, got a photo, and pissed off.
So
I'm like,
dirty.
You bastard.
Oh, well, I gotta find Shu. He's being recognised for his achievements at this year's BAFTA Game Awards. During the awards ceremony, he'll be gifted the BAFTA Fellowship Award, the organisation's top honour. The BAFTA Fellowship is a Hall of Fame style award recognizing significant contributions to the creative arts. Other recipients of this award within the games industry include Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo dude,
Nintendo.
Wow, that was incredibly dismissive. Hideo Kojima did some Metal Gear things. John Carmack and Media Molecules Siobhan Reddy, which is still confusing because Media Molecules. Okay. Yoshida will receive the award during this year's ceremony on the 30th of March. Hell yeah. Fucking shoes dope, man. Like, when you think about the key and the best time of PlayStation was in that PS3 into the PS4 generation where we had Sean Layden, Shuhei Yoshida, what's that dude's name? Gio Corsi, you know what I mean? Like Jackie T. Like there was such this cool, almost cult of personality around PlayStation that has seemed to have been lost. And Xbox have admittedly tried to continue it with the likes of Phil Spencer, and it's just not the same. Once again, maybe because that sort of marketing around having your executives be like friendly faces is something that just doesn't exist at the moment, especially when, capitalism's hot garbage and everyone wants to eat the rich and stuff. It's probably not a good idea to do that marketing now. But I don't know. I kind of miss it.
Also, speaking of all things hot garbage, Sony has filed a patent for NFT framework allowing the exchange for non-fungible tokens across game systems. This patented system from Sony essentially would allow you to transfer your NFTs from one game or system to another and continue using it there. Additionally, there's the potential to trade or sell the rights to your NFTs to other players, and apparently forgery is, quote, nearly impossible owing to the use of blockchain technology, end quote. It should be noted that a lot of patents like this never end up being developed into a final product or service. And odds are most corporations are covering their bases in a similar way. Sony we would assume would be fully aware of the terrible reputations that NFTs currently have. And we should point out that PlayStation have made the point that their PlayStation Stars digital collectibles are not NFTs.
I was just about to make that call about PlayStation Stars. And that's probably the
unless they say they turn around and be like, "Lol jokes, they actually are." Ha ha ha. Now you can trade them and sell them.
Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, as you highlighted, like companies patent shit all the time, or at least put one in to try something, like even when it's down to just some sort of technological development or some kind of programming, like whatever it is they need to do. It's just to cover the fact in case at some point they want to do it or implement part of it. Like I know they patented the trophies into retro games at some point, and which they do now. But for a while there, it was just patented, but no movement had taken place until recently. There's a bunch of things that have come up over time that just didn't have an answer, and I understand with the hotness, quote unquote, that NFTs have had over the last couple of years. Now, granted, they're on a very strong decline. Brilliant. It still wouldn't hurt for Sony to have something like this for, say, whatever the future holds. Now, I say that in a purely objective standpoint, like, okay, it doesn't hurt to hedge your bets. From a subjective standpoint, the fuck you doing? Don't get all Square Enix up on this bullshit and just dedicate your entire existence to NFTs. Gross.
Maybe they had to do this because they're buying Square and they need something in place for NFTs.
Oh, adding fuel to the fire, says Max Cooper. Gross.
Deep cut.
All right, well, let's get into like where the main topic of the show, the Naughty Dogs. What's next, Max?
These are kind of fused together. They are they're pulled from the same interview podcast.
Yeah,
because it was part of the kind of funny stuff.
All right, well then, okay, so let's jump into this.
They kind of fused together.
Yeah. So Naughty Dog's creative director Neil Druckman and vice president has jumped on Kind of Funny. That's the team of Greg Miller, Nick Scarpino, and Tim Geddes. Previous big fan of Kind of Funny. They're a key inspiration of what this show is. So shout out to them. And so Neil appeared on their Kind of Funny spoiler cast where he was talking about The Last of Us. I think the TV show specifically. In that conversation, he confirmed that the first-party developer has already decided on what its next PS5 project is going to be. And while he couldn't reveal what it is, he explained that the team selected the title it was collectively, quote, most excited about. Elsewhere in the interview, he explained that Naughty Dog has been restructured to allow it to develop more than one title at a time. Cool. We'll talk about that in a minute. Which is evidenced by the fact he released The Last of Us Part 1 last year and has a standalone multiplayer game in development as well. He added that the studio now has a large number of producers, game directors, and writers, allowing it to be more organised overall. Druckman wouldn't confirm whether the team's next game will be The Last of Us Part 3 or not. But he did acknowledge the pent-up demand for the third game. Excuse me. And given the colossal success of the TV show, it's hard to imagine anything else at this point. Additionally, as we mentioned before about the single play, the side multiplayer game, host of Kind of Funny Games spoiler cast, Greg Miller, does bring up the question around factions, which is the original name of the Last of Us multiplayer part on PS3. Druckman, who seems quite deliberate in not referring to it as factions, says, quote, "The Last of Us multiplayer game is our next big title. You'll hear much more about it later this year. I'm stoked about it." Druckman goes on to describe what it feels like to be less hands-on with the upcoming multiplayer title, stating that, quote, that one's an interesting experience for me personally, because it's the first Last of Us game that I'm not the primary writer. And I'm not the director, so I get to see it more from the side and play more of a producer role, the more of a mentor role. And that, to me, is really exciting. And what the team has put together is so cool, end quote. Max, using the information that we have here, what do you think is the future of Naughty Dog?
Release it, you cowards. Look, I don't know. They're in quite
Thank
a
you, everyone,
privileged
for checking out the episode. There's your answer.
Look, they're in quite a privileged position at the moment where they have the opportunity to kind of work on whatever they want to. They've obviously got their, as we know, because it's been announced, it's been showcased a little bit. Well, we got a fucking teaser, 15-second clip of what we all assume to be whatever the factions version of this Last of Us multiplayer mode is. After the success of Last of Us TV series, they would be crazy not to do a part 3.
Yeah. But
I don't think that's what's next for them.
All right.
I think it'll be something else. I still think it'd be cool, but I don't think it's going to be that.
Yeah. So what has me interested here? A couple of different things. Now, first of all, this isn't the first time that Naughty Dog has been in a position where they've had multiple studios making multiple things. They did this with like Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us? Or Last of Us and Uncharted 4? One of those incarnations. Either way, Uncharted, Last of Us, same time, being put together. And what they were finding was that people were wanting to work on one and not the other. So it's kind of this pull towards one, and it kind of caused a lot of friction. And especially for the heads that were working on multiple titles at the same time. Because an example, actually, no, so it was Last of Us into Uncharted 4, because obviously Amy Hennig had to step away from Uncharted 4. Then Neil Druckman and Bruce Straley had to then go into Uncharted 4 while still working, closing up The Last of Us. From memory, I think that's how it went down. So I hope they've learnt from that previous time, because since then they've only ever been the one game studio. And I think with what Jim Ryan has talked about in terms of what he wants the future to be, which is, more of these AAA sort of big budgety things, and just kind of the idea of burying franchise into the ground, looking at Horizon, its next 16 installments are all mapped out, apparently. It doesn't surprise me that Naughty Dog, which is the pinnacle of PlayStation studios, and also a pinnacle of just video game studios, period, it doesn't surprise me that they want to do that. In the same way, especially if you look over at the likes of Insomniac, which has been acquired since Uncharted 4 and Last of Us, and maybe they've been able to share their wisdom on how they're able to run so many properties at the same time. Because right now we know they've got Spider-Man 2, they've got Wolverine, probably something else they can pull out of their arseholes, because they're just incredibly put together team over there. So that's exciting. Would I see them like doing Last of Us Part 3 as the next thing, as the next big game. It's possible. And I say that because if you notice that wording, the wording is incredibly specific. At no point have they said, no, we're not doing Last of Us Part 3. They're saying, we're doing the one that is most exciting to us. They essentially don't want to bury the lead, because if the Factions is right around the corner and they go, hey, the next thing after that, more Last of Us. Therefore, the last, pun intended, 3 things they've worked on is Last of Us. Part 1, Factions, and Part 3. Right? That's a lot for that studio to work on. And this is another reason why I understand why they'd want to diversify their teams, allow them to tackle new IP, various things. That makes absolute sense, because if you have one studio that's just solely making one game, people will either be... Don't get me wrong, the games will be incredible because those that are willing to stick through it know what they're doing, know that world, they live and they breathe it. So that's the utmost amount of care you'll ever get from that franchise, is for those that choose to do a lot of it in a row. As you said, the success of Last of Us the TV series, is a reason to stick to 3, because
they've got a little while, because filming's wrapped, show's done.
Season 1.
We know there's more seasons coming. They've said that it's got renewed
for another 2.
They've told us that that part 2 is too big for one season. So they're going to be at least a year and a half apart just from themselves. We're looking at probably a year to 2 years for season 2 to come out. That gives them a solid 5 years to get part 3 done in time for season 4.
Yeah. So like you are correct in that, because I was discussing this before they announced it. I was like, as I said to you, I think I said it on air, and I can't remember. I was like, I guarantee you, part 2 will be season 2, season 3, and they'll book it right until the middle point where in the theater when Ellie and Abby cross paths. There's your moment, and that's your cliffhanger into season 3. But yeah, in terms of Factions, Factions right around the corner. I think it's going to be a way more in-depth game than we think it will be. It wouldn't surprise me, rather than like a built multiplayer game, pardon me, like Factions was. I see this in almost like a games as a service, Outriders-esque sort of setup. Division, actually probably more like Division, really. Like big campaign, a lot of post-campaign stuff. Because look at a lot of the wording, right? It's you and your friend. So I think it's going to be like that, co-op campaign.
Co-op campaign. That's what part 1 was missing. Yep. I want The Last of Us, It Takes Two style.
Yep.
Where one person plays Ellie, one person plays Joel. You play through that.
Well, I would argue that's what Factions or whatever this multiplayer game is going to be. It'll be a 2-player co-op Last of Us experience. I believe it's going to be set in a different city. I think it's in San Fran, from memory. I remember there being some artwork around the...
I have a feeling it's just going to be one of those fucking cooperative survival games where everyone just goes out and harvests shit and builds bases, and there's going to be raiders and stuff. I don't think it'll be limited to
Fallout 76, but Last of Us.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, I was really stoked on it until I gave that.
That is what I'm anticipating. Or like The Forest, or like the Last of DMZ.
Oh,
where if you die, you lose all your shit.
Yeah, it's possible, and because there was a really cool mechanic in Factions, which was the idea of like you're essentially building up your own little community, and every time you failed a multiplayer session, you would lose survivors, and it was all sort of part of this bigger thing. Speaking of the multiplayer, though, Shane in the chat jumps in, Magic Casts. I can see the multiplayer game satiating the fan base while they develop a new IP before they make Part 3. But if that's the case, we might not see Part 3 till 2030. I would argue that, yeah, everyone's pretty much, in terms of active development or like closing up production, I would say they're probably closing at this point, for Factions, which would then lead to one team making Part 3, one team making something else. And that's kind of what they're implying. Like, that's how I read it. They're like, hey, we have multiple teams and multiple things. So even though the next thing we announce may not be The Last of Us Part 3, doesn't mean it's not being done. It's kind of what they're getting at. MGB goes, cough, cough, Halo 5, cough, cough, Halo Infinite, cough, cough. How well Halo Wars 2 was pretty good, cough, cough. Look, and there's a big difference, right? Is like 343 weren't the Halo studio. They were built afterwards. Like, Bungie was that team. They made a secondary team to replace Bungie, so everyone that was in it didn't live and breathe it, right? It's like if you had The Last of Us, like, hey, here's Last of Us Part 3, but Neil Druckman is not involved, Bruce Straley's not involved. That's not a good sign. It's like the idea of whatever this new Uncharted game that is apparently being made out of Sony San Diego. Like, it's, you know, what's the level of involvement that they're going to have here? Will it feel the same? Will it feel like a derivative version in the same way that Halo 5, Halo Infinite, like, you know? But even then, Coalition, right? Like, you got studios 343 and the Coalition named after the franchise that they're supposed to be working on, right? Like, you're set up to fail, like, fucking really. But yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds. I reckon Part 3 is coming, plus something else. But as Shane points out, the multiplayer will help in that interim a little bit to allow the active development of 2 games at any one time. And especially in the nature of the current video games market, where games do take 5 years to get together, no studio can work on just one game anymore. It is financially not viable. Anyone
QUICKBITS?
Anything you want to add?
No. I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, good old bets and rants.
Yeah.
At least I sound educated sometimes. Sometimes.
Gotta fake it till you make it, mate.
Guts it.
QUICKBITS. Layers of Fear has a demo walkthrough built in Unreal Engine 5. Looks mint. It's like 10 minutes long.
Name is still lame.
Pardon? That name is still lame. Techland are leaving the dead behind for an open world fantasy game.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of stoked about. I like Techland stuff. They did Dying Light 2. I'd be keen to play an open world fantasy game.
Not Dead Nation. What was the... They did another game in the middle. Dead Island.
Did they?
They did Dead Island, Riptide and stuff. Yeah, sure they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Splash Damage have teased Project Astrid with the streamers Shroud and Sacriel involved. Apparently, it's an open world survival game.
You know,
because we fucking need more of those.
Yeah, because we apparently do. But like, isn't it interesting? Like, I was discussing the other day, right? Like, I don't think I'm this unique fucking snowflake in this world. No way. But I was having this conversation around the idea of like the larger thing, right? Like I was, you know, you think about the things that are popular in this world, and I'm like, they don't connect to me at all. And I'm like, the idea of like, you know, is having Shroud and Sacriel connect? I have
no idea who that is. No, I know who like, Shroud is.
Yeah, if that's connected to like, that doesn't make me excited.
I would be more excited if it was not an open world survival game. It's like Shroud's helping to make a shooter. I'd be like, fuck yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's good. Easy. I know he's brilliant shooters.
Pick one of the, you know, one of the god tier gamers when it comes to shooters. Help him make a game. Let him give you pointers about what should work, how it should be done. Awesome. And then you do the technical groundwork to make that a reality if possible. Awesome. I don't need another open world survival.
But not even that. Like the point I'm trying to make here is like, if you hear like, who the fuck hear these names and go, that's what sells me on it.
Are you telling me you're not excited for Dr. Disrespect's game?
No.
Yeah, man.
But then again, like, I'm sure there are individuals that I hear. If you say, oh, Hideo Kojima's connected, I'm like, okay. If you're like, hey, this movie's like, you know, Kevin Smith's in it, I'm like, oh, okay. So I get that. There are like individuals that pull people in. But like, I don't know, even when I was at the Game Expo last week? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's like all these people that are all streamers, and then apparently they're big deals. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck any of you are. I mean, granted, they don't know who I am either, because I'm a fucking nobody. But
mate, you're a VIP.
So were they. That's how I met them. Yeah, and they're like, oh, you know, I'm this, and I'm like, cool. Is that like if someone tells you a Twitch streamer is involved in a project, does that get you excited?
It depends on what kind of project it is.
Interesting. Okay, interesting.
Like if it makes
I'm just
sense.
cynical, I guess.
Like if it makes sense. Like if you're telling me like the guy who's like I've beaten all the fucking Dark Souls franchise without taking a single hit. I'm helping them to develop a new boss with new mechanics. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's cool. But if they turn around and be like, oh, you know that streamer Brian Betson, he's gonna help us make the next Dark Souls. I'm like, fuck no, you picked the wrong dude. You picked the wrong guy. Like if this, like I said, I would be more excited about this if they were making a shooter with Shroud than a fucking open world survival game with Shroud.
Okay, I get you. I too wouldn't, because
like if Doctor Disrespect's game was a dating sim, sure. I get it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
If Doctor Disrespects was I'm filming in a toilet cubicle game, cool. That he also wins there too. That's impressive. But yeah, no. Why the fuck would anyone approach me? Like, there'd be one of those moments they announce that, and then it followed by many video clips of me just shitting on Soulsborns. Oh, what a day Twitter would have. That'd be amazing.
Far Cry 5 has been upgraded to 60 frames with a PS5 patch.
Dude, this is dope. Because Far Cry 5 is brilliant. And it's probably my favorite one. Like, I enjoyed 6. 6 played well. But, like, the story, like Joseph Seed, woo, so much better. I'd play it again.
Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores is still scheduled for its 19th of April release.
That's a month from now.
Oh. And to get you excited, Ryan, there's a new Persona 5 game. Oh. However, it's a gacha game for smartphones.
Well, funny you should know that, Max. I am endorsing that game. I was approached by the team of Atlas, and
you mean Raid Shadow Legends is not today's.
Oh, fuck it out. That's cool. All right, Persona, like I said, I've kind of lost my entertainment.
And I'll throw it in the quick bits. It's very sad news. I was super bummed to hear it. The passing of Lance Reddick. There's been heaps of people. Obviously, he's the voice behind Commander Zavala in Destiny 2. The Destiny community has just been pumping clips of them around his character in game, just tributes for days. Seeing John Wick next week is going to hurt.
Yeah, and of course, in recently...
The Wire, Fringe...
Yeah. Outside of games, like...
everything, yeah. And then obviously Silence in Horizon.
Yeah. What a dude. And, just an iconic individual. Like, his voice, his presentation... it's one of those things where, admittedly, I knew of him without knowing of him. And I'm like, oh, what's that guy? And then you start to remember, wait, I've seen you in 1,000 things. Holy shit.
Because I was talking to Ali about it yesterday, and she's like, where have I seen him in? I'm like, oh, he's
everything.
Fringe, he's in The Wire. She's like, no, I don't watch that. I'm like, American Horror Story. Yeah. She's like, yes, American Horror Story.
I know, like I said, I have been meaning to watch Fringe forever. And it's not on any streaming service, which is ball bags. But this might be a good reason, I suppose. All right, well, here are the upcoming titles for this week. I don't know how to transition away from that. I'm sorry. Deceive Inc. coming to PS5 March 21st. Cheer coming to PS5, PS4 March 21st. Long ass name time. The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, PS5 March 21st. God damn it. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners The Tourist Edition, PS5 March 21st. Last Labyrinth, PS5 March 22nd. Altair Riser 3 Alchemist and the End and the Secret Key. The Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key, PS5, PS4 March 24th. Resident Evil 4. PS5, PS4 March 24th. Yeah. The Crown of Woo. Woo.
Woo.
March 24th. The answer is Resident Evil 4. Yeah. That's the answer.
I feel like I should play Atelier Riser just because I played the first two.
Yeah, and you had a blast with them, didn't you, from memory?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's also a turn left. Same guys that are doing Resi, Capcom. Let's see if they respond to that email. Bet you they don't. Oh man, we've had a couple of long ones this last couple of weeks. It's been fun.
Oh, you know what's exciting?
With that.
Don't get me wrong. As much as I love recording with you, I don't have to fucking record tomorrow night.
Oh, the loss of Mondays. Yeah, with the you know. According to comparetv.com.au, brought to you by Reverend Puck, sponsored. Fringe is streaming on Foxtel. Don't have it. 7 Plus. Ew. Apple TV. Yeah, no, you gotta pay for. You can buy it on Apple TV.
I love Fringe. They did Fringe so dirty.
Yeah, it's on. Like I had the Blu-rays, but they're at my old house.
It got cancelled in its final season. They fucking short shrift it so hard.
It's not on binge. It's like Foxtel's different. It's Foxtel Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that. Oh shit! What's his name? Joshua Jackson from the Dawson.
Oh, I was gonna say the guy who plays Dragon in Arrow. I can't think of anything else he's been in. But he's been in so much stuff. But I just recently watched Arrow. He plays one of the fucking villains in Arrow. He's in it too.
There is good time travel bullshit.
And then Tess from Last of Us is in it.
Oh,
what was the chick that played?
Joshua Jackson of the Mighty Ducks. Yeah, I guess Mighty Ducks first, but no, he's from the Dawson.
Out of 12,
him and fucking what was her name? The girl from the Dawson's Creek. Was Pacey? Was it Lacey? Was it Pacey? Was his character? Fuck, what was her name? Damn it!
Can't believe you watched Dawson's Creek.
Oh, I didn't watch Dawson's Creek. I just know.
Yes, you fucking did. Standpoint. Don't lie.
No, I never.
You know,
did.
Actually, you know what? The
no, Pacey was fucking the other dude's name.
No, Joshua Jackson played Pacey.
Oh,
you're thinking of James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, no, James Vanderbeek. I'm aware of the Vanderbeek.
Are you talking about
Katie Holmes?
Yeah, she plays Joey.
Joey, that's where I couldn't get that. It just was right here. I could see her face, clear as fucking day, but I could not think of her name, Katie Holmes. I knew she was married to Tom Cruise. I remembered that part, but fuck if I remember her name.
She was the slutty pumpkin.
She was the slutty pumpkin. Oh, that's a show I would like to watch again, and then get really mad at the ending. So I'm not going to watch it again. Stupid fucking endings. Speaking of stupid fucking endings, let's get this show done. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the show, checking it out, as we always do each and every week. Much appreciate taking the time. Time is the most valuable thing we have in this world, and you chose to spend it with us. Why? But thank you, though, I guess.
Nothing better to do.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's better than anything. No, it's actually not. It's better than nothing. That's the tagline of the show. For the players, it's better than nothing. Max, send him home.
Sure. Well, everybody, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures. We can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popcultures.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
And Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. That was my impression of mosquito. What do you think? It sucked.
It was annoying. You need to be slapped. Like, I don't know.